Well, hello, my darlings. Welcome to Your Fate and Fortune with True Oracle. I am Lady Zelda Kelly, and it is April. Today is April 1st of 2025, and happy April 1st or happy April Fool's Day. Have you been pranked today? I've been pranked twice, and it was wonderful. I don't think anybody has fun like that anymore. But let me tell you, as we get into this month of April, April 2025 is going to be a very dynamic astrological month. And this is going to feature many, many, many significant planetary movements that can really influence both challenges and triumphs. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at, and appropriately, we have the Celestial Tarot deck here, ready and willing, ready at the click of a finger here. And we have this beautiful, I'm going to tell you, the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, and then we have this Lenormand deck. And you're really going to enjoy this. What I want to do is, I'm going to set the tone for April by giving you a reading with, and let me get my cards here. I just thought of this, so we're just going to go with flow. With the telepathy oracle cards, we're just going to set the tone. What's up for the month of April? I don't even want to go through all the astrological things that are going to be happening, except in the first 7 days here, we're on the home stretch for Mercury retrograde actually ending. It's going to be ending on the 7th. And it's going to be all of a sudden, because it's ending in the sign of Pisces. And all of a sudden, it's just going to be like, oh, that was it? Oh. And it's going to bring some clarity and maybe some forward momentum. And especially a little bit of clarity in your communication and decision making. So this shift that we're preparing for on the 7th of April is going to help really resolve some misunderstandings and facilitate some other smoother interactions. Let's get started, my darlings. Here we are. True love. Well, isn't this appropriate? True love appears when you least expect it. I so agree. And you know, if you want to take a screenshot, you're more than welcome to do that and use it as your wallpaper. But I'm going to say this. Let's expand on this. True love of your career. True love of your home. True love of can be anything. Don't close the door on just one subject. This is going to be a time in which you can open your heart and your mind. So we're going to be reading in that. So here we are, and we are now in the sign of Aries as well. Let's see what's going on. Here we are. We're putting all these cards to the side. Now I have pre-shuffled, and we're going to see exactly, we're going to just give it another little shuffle. And we're going to say, spirits, guides, angels, where are we for the month of April? Give us an idea of what's to come and maybe what's to avoid. Here we go. First card off the top of the deck is the Judgment. And boy, I am loving that. We're just going to draw 3 cards here. That's it. Because you know what? In a tarot spread, for me, I pretty much know what is about going to happen within the first 3 cards. I guess I'm to that point in my reading career. So I'm going to put these to the side, and we're going to talk about these. Now, I am loving this. And for this month of April, it is going to be a time of discernment, a time for you to be waking up, a time for you to be learning the lessons that you were supposed to be learning maybe in 2024. And now we are in April, the 4th month. Can you believe it? It's just like before you know it, we're going to be in June. So it is time for you to learn those lessons. But here's the thing. Recognition this month is going to be so important. Now, what's recognition? Well, you can wake up to a certain situation, but you have to recognize if there's a problem or an issue so you can change it. That's part of the lesson that's coming. You see, there's going to be some opportunity, open doors, and could be with true love, and it could be with true love of whatever situation you want to tag on to this card. Because this judgment card is basically saying, look, help will be coming for you. The universe, guides, angels will help you. And there's going to be this wonderful discernment that goes along with it, as in, don't worry, you're not going to be judged for this because we can rectify this. And I think this is what's happening for April. We've come out of some hefty astrological aspects in March, and especially with this Mercury retrograde, has kind of been a tough one. But now we're getting to this point where it's time to recognize things. And that's what this Five of Pentacles means for me. Now, in the traditional card, you see I'm going to say a mother and a son. You can interpret that however you like. But they are in the snow. For the son, I interpret it as a son is on crutches. It looks like she is barefoot. It is snowing and cold, and she's wrapped up, and he's looking at her for guidance and direction. But there is a stained glass window above them that has 5 pentacles. And they're in a hurry. And for me, I like to interpret that as, okay, there is a recognition that they are in the circumstance that they are. It looks like they've learned the lesson because they're moving on out of there pretty quickly. And it looks like sometimes, and I've got to say this, sometimes we get tired of being in a situation, a circumstance, could be a job, could even be a relationship. And without change, we get tired very easily. And especially during this month of April, this is going to be this month where it is up to you. Do you need to leave? Do you need to stay? But especially, do you need to work on you? Because I think this is also going to be that month where planetarily we are almost forced into. And I kind of like that in a way, that the planets are aligning so we can take a closer look at what's going on with us, maybe even within us. Focus on us. Laser focus on what we're doing. It could be a very simple change, and it can be a very drastic change. That, my darlings, will be up to you. But whatever it is, there is definitely a lesson. And why do we need to learn the lessons? Well, so we don't loop, right? We're not on a hamster wheel, and we don't have to go back through them again and again and again. That's the trouble with lessons, right? It takes a little bit for some of us for it to sink in. There is a card that came out. It is the 7 of Wands, and it is very appropriate. And this little sweetheart is looking like he is busy. And I think that's going to be busy for you too. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Look at this card. That little sweetheart. Little owl looking at that wheel. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Last card out. So we have the 7 of Wands on top of the Judgment card. We have the Wheel of Fortune on top of this 5 of Pentacles. And then we have the 10 of Wands. Now, isn't that something? Because we have the 10 of Wands right here. And now we have the 10 of Wands here. We can't make this up. This is something that we are really supposed to be paying attention to. So we're going to come back to that in just a brief moment. We're going to put this to the side. Let's talk about this 7 of Wands. Look at that little baby. That little sweetheart. He's got determination. And that's an indication for you. Determination to set your boundaries. Maybe waking up in a circumstance or a situation that has just been eating at you, maybe depleted you in energy and finances. Maybe it is something that you've had to do for quite a long time, but building boundaries. And look, there are varying degrees of boundaries too. Some situations, maybe even people, need different degree of a boundary. It could just be keeping arm's length. When I say keeping a person arm's length, that doesn't mean to be hateful. Hateful doesn't even enter here. It means that you can still be kind. You can still be very wishing them well. I'm going to say that. Just because you don't have them near you doesn't mean you can't be kind to them. It just means that, well, it doesn't feel good to have them around anymore, right? And sometimes we need to do that. And that's hurtful, but we just do. But the same thing for circumstances and situations. Could be a job. It could be another employee. It could be a career. It could be everything and anything. And it could be because some of you may be even considering moving out of the state that you are in and into another state. And yet, it may be just this point where it's like, oh my heck, can I do this? But I have to set some boundaries. Some of us might be an indication that we just need to get organized in this month. Clearing the clutter. And because you know what? Sometimes when you clear the clutter, you are forming that boundary. So be sly as the fox while you're doing this, my darlings. And then we come here to this beautiful little owl. And look at the Wheel of Fortune spun as a web. Isn't that something? Now, the Torah is spelled out in this Wheel of Fortune, as well as the name of God. And this card represents that there is a higher power and also a higher purpose for you, my darlings. Now, in life, as you know, we go through waves. Sometimes the wheel is going up and sometimes it's going down. And it's always an indication when this card comes out to say, you know what, it's always best to prep for whichever cycle you're getting ready to go through. But just know, no matter what cycle it is, it will be temporary because you are going to be moving on, right? You're going to be moving on and you're going to be learning some lessons. Now, there's one thing I want to point out to you because I think you've all noticed. There's this little fellow here wrapped around this tree, but this owl has got a really good line of sight on him. So what does this mean? Well, this owl can represent this higher spiritual being. And he's making sure that this snake stays where he's supposed to be staying. He can still function where he is because, you know what, he has a purpose in life. But he needs to maintain and he needs to have his boundary and stay on his side. And this little owl is going to make sure that that all happens. Isn't that something? Because look here. There's a little fellow here dangling. And you see, this is the wheel of also life. Because this owl may have claimed this little fellow, but this snake is wanting what this owl has. So that interpretation is basically saying, look, this is what you need to exercise in life. We all do right now. Making sure that our boundaries are set so that what is ours can be spiritually, can be physically, materially, remains ours until we are ready to make that change. Now, here is what I feel is really something. The fact that we got 2 tens of wands. Now, this one, I like to say, and look, another sly as a fox, sitting by this little stream, contemplating with this one wand what he's going to be doing next. You know, the tens in the tarot mean that you have completed this particular journey and you're getting ready to move to the next. How did you complete it? Well, you learned the lessons. You learned the lessons, and I hate to say, but it could be the hard way. And usually that's how a lesson is learned, by the hard way. We all know it. Hey, hello? Present company included. So here's the deal, my darling, with this. April is going to set things in motion where you wake up, you recognize, you form your boundaries, you make sure that you keep what is yours spiritually, physically, materially, and maybe even mentally. And then because you are learning these lessons, you are prepping with a higher power to move in or on to this next lesson for the month of April. Loving that. Loving that. Here we are with this old style Lenormand deck. Now, we have these in our psychic shop. If you would like to try this, this is a really good card and a deck. If you are starting out and if you're just reading, it gives you a good indication of maybe what the day will bring, maybe what the week, etc. Take a look in the psychic shop. I'll leave a link in the description and at the end of this video so you can come on over there and take a look. Okay? And we just appreciate it that you do. Just stop by and just check us out. Old style Lenormand deck, and here we go. And I'm loving that. A key. That is the 8 of diamonds. And number 33. We're going to put this here. The lilies with the king of spades. Last but not least is the anchor with the 9 of spades. Now that is a good indication here. We're going to go and we're going to start here. This key is basically saying you, yes, you, my darling, have the key to what happens next. The key in your life. All you have to do is turn that key and open the door. And it may be new discovery for you. It may be a new open door. It may even be a new life, a new beginning. That's what April is all about. It's the learning of the lessons so you can really just be well informed. You can be well situated and grounded very well. So you can move forward because you know what? This lilies is a happy time. Even though planetarily this may make us stand up and take notice of some things. This is going to be a very happy time because this King of Spades, he is a grounded, he is very grounded, earthy fellow. And if you want to get really technical, he could be the sign of Virgo. But I'm going to also tell you that this is an indication that things are about to bloom. We are in the spring. So there will be things, seeds that metaphorically you have planted in the, maybe even after the first of the year, maybe even in 2024, that will just now start to grow. And that's where the wands come in. Things are growing, opportunity, open doors. And then last but not least, this beautiful anchor. This beautiful anchor with the 9 of spades. Now, what does the anchor mean? Well, it means that let's just take a minute and anchor in. Let's just take a minute and stop what we're doing so we can reassess what it is that we need to be doing. Because, again, we are preparing for the Mercury to go direct on April 7th. But funny enough, okay, Venus, which is the planet of true love, is also retrograde on April 3rd in Pisces. And this alignment is also going to be encouraging deep introspection about what's going on, love, relationships, and even personal values. And when we see all this about to come out, it is a karmic pattern And these may surface for you. Patterns may surface. Lessons, right? So offering opportunities for growth and realignment may be your true path. And it may be in the love department. That is going to be up to you. But here's the great thing about this, okay? Venus does go direct again April 12th. Now, April 12th, it's going to be not only relating to relationships, but also finances. So you've got a whole plethora of things to be dealing with here in this month of April. Because then April 13th is a full moon in Libra. So this is all going to cause you to have some balance. You need balance. You need to be in a place where opportunity finds you. Whatever is no longer serving you, isn't that funny though for this? So no matter what it is, it could be partnerships, it could be anything, relationships, you've got to seek this certain equilibrium, this balance, because no matter what, no matter if something no longer serves you, you have to deal with it. And that is with this month of April, because right here tells the story for the whole month. No matter what you're dealing with, you're going to have to wake up a little bit. And by the time we get to the end of this month, we are going to have a new moon in Taurus, April 27th. There's some other things that are happening, but you know, the sun enters into Taurus on the 19th of April, and that is a lover of beautiful things. That makes us focus on our stability. It makes us focus on personal values, finances, and you know what? It is time to plant more seeds for long-term growth and cultivate patience and especially persistence. By the time we get to this new moon, we're going to be experiencing quite a few things, and maybe even this wheel of fortune of emotions, the up and down. So with this knowing what you're facing for April, you're going to be in a really, really good position to plan. And that is exactly what this month is all about. You got to plan. Now, one last thing about this card. This is a 9 of spades. That 9 of spades basically says, be cautious. Don't allow your imagination to go wild this month. Don't think of these things. Don't allow anxiety to overtake you. Take things as though they come. You'll be able to work through it because this month is giving us plenty of opportunity to look to the past for lessons, and especially those seeds that we have planted in the past for growth and stability. So you're going to be okay. The great thing about this, my darling, what I'm getting about this, you will be as sly as a fox this month and preparing for what you need to have to be able to just navigate. I think that is the thing, navigating in April. We're going to get one last card. One last card. The Chariot. This is also for the sign of Cancer. You don't have to be that sign of Cancer. But for this Chariot, look at this little sweetheart, little snail on top of a bird. Look at that. You're going to be loving home. You might even be moving in the month of April, like I said. But with this particular card, this is all about finding the direction you want to go in and then sticking to it. Mapping out what is good for you. Because I've said before, if you have a long-term goal, it's not about that long-term goal. It's about the journey that you choose to get there. And that card is going to give you, my darlings, that ability to navigate. Because you, in this card, are the charioteer. You're the driver. And it's going to be up to you, my darling, what's going on. So yes, we have a very eventful April coming your way. And I always like to wait until the first day of the month. I don't like to do it any time before, because it gives us that set. It's almost as though, for me, the guides say, okay, it's here now. The month is here now. Let's go. And I'm so glad that we did. Thanks so much for being here. We would like to thank you and ask you to please subscribe. That's Mercury. Like to ask you to subscribe, like, and please share this video if you have someone you think would like it. And also, we are now offering memberships, and those memberships will get more of individualized readings, mediumship readings. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come on over, join us. You can see the join button right there under this video. And thank you so much again for being here. And we wish you here at Fate and Fortune with True Oracle, we wish you all the best for the month of April. And if you'd like a reading with me or palm services, or even for this deck of cards, and we have other decks of cards and bracelets in there, come on over. Links in the description, and I'll leave a link at the web address at the end of this video. Thanks again for being here. Much love to you this April. Bye for now.